This is the Jocko Underground Podcast number 208. Sitting here with Echo Charles, and we have gotten some questions from the field, from the front lines, from life, from business, from the battlefield in some cases. And we will present some answers, some recommendations, or at a minimum, some various courses of action to follow.
Yes, sir.
So let's get into it.
Okay, first question. Greetings, Jocko. I've been on the path for years. Home gym, jiu-jitsu, blue belt, hell yeah. Business owner and father to a 3-year-old future BJJ world champ. It's a good dream. It's a good dream.
It's a good dream.
My wife is amazing and runs her own business from home. She also works out and takes care of our son during the day. We're very intentional about how we're raising him, keeping him active, learning, and eating well. But with our schedules, we sometimes rely on movies to distract him while we get work done. No tablet, just longer, more educational content on TV. But it still doesn't feel great. What would you do in this situation to build good habits for your kids while still handling work? We can't afford a nanny yet.
Check. Well, first of all, I'll say it sounds like you're doing awesome. You got the jiu-jitsu, the home gym. It's a big step.
Huge. Yeah.
It's a big step. People don't even realize how big of a step that is, but that's a big step. Jiu-jitsu, you got your business. It's awesome, man. And you got a kid. You got a son. So and it sounds like you're doing a good job already. Like, honestly, here's the thing. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You got them watching an occasional movie. There's like good educational movies. There's documentaries. There's nature programs. There's cool stuff to watch and healthy stuff to watch, and it's perfectly fine. And you don't have them on a freaking iPad or an iPhone. I was at an event, we'll say, and the event was, let's say, about 3.5 hours long. And it was there was a kid that was probably around this age, like 3 or 4, was literally on an iPad, like fingers moving on the iPad for 3.5 straight hours. No breaks. It was insane. So, you got your kid watching the occasional movie. You know, maybe he's watching a half an hour of a movie while you guys are getting dinner ready or something like that. Maybe he's watching 45 minutes of a movie while you are, while you're doing work at home, while your wife is grocery shopping. Like, there's reasons where it's like, okay. And you got him watching some good stuff. You know, I watched freaking, what was it? Sesame Street.
Yep.
When I was a kid. That's a half an hour program. I probably watched that. Oh, I watched Batman and Robin.
What, the cartoon?
No, like those weird men.
Live action?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The show, the old school?
Yeah, like the show with the kabam and the kaboom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I watched those pretty consistently as a kid. Saturday morning cartoons, 100%. So, I mean, I think that's our whole generation grew up doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're like too twisted or anything. So I think you're in a good spot. And I will say that the 3-year-old's a little bit tricky. 3-year-old's a little bit tough because some forthcoming activities, they're just out of reach right now. They're just out of reach right now. Next year or so, you're going to be able to really expand what you make available to him. The building toys, the blocks, the Legos, the Tonka trucks, the bow and arrow, like the foam bow and arrow thing, the Nerf ball, the Nerf guns, the jungle gym, like all these things are coming. They're right on the horizon. And once that happens, like there's no reason for anything else other than all those things. You know, when I had this thing for my son, he had an area in our yard that he called his area.
Sure.
And it was just dirt and mud and shovels and Green Army men and tanks and bazookas and half tracks and little sidecar motorcycles, like just war scene. Yeah. And the hose would get put in there and the shovels would come out. Foxholes were being dug. It was a disaster for, what is that? Lawn manicuring?
Yeah.
Like, there was no lawn.
None of that.
There was rivers out there. You know, the water bill crept up because there was white water activities going down with British commandos and kayaks and stuff like this. But dude, this kid was out there for hours with his buddies. Hours and hours and hours and hours. So that's, set something up like that for your kid. And then when they just just a little bit beyond that is bikes, skateboards, basketballs, footballs, Nerf guns, more Nerf guns, BB guns. Like it's going to be on. So I wouldn't sweat this too bad. It sounds like you're in a good spot. You're minimizing it as much as you can. And he's about to hit an age where the whole world opens up to him. So going to be good to go, man. Don't worry about it. Little movie now and again, you'll be fine. That's what I got.
Yeah, makes sense. Because everything that's on a screen, we'll say, because that's a super general thing, right? A screen. And then there's everything's not created equal on the screen, So there's like things that a kid at whatever age can watch on a screen that can be, whatever you want to assign to it, whether it be damaging or just, intrusive or hold his development back or something like this, right? And then there's over here, which could be straight up helpful, like you mentioned Sesame Street. By the way, if you remember, Sesame Street was pretty educational. Yeah. They were talking about words and consonants and vowels and all this other stuff. So I think sometimes we can be like, oh, iPad, bad, 100%, under all circumstances, bad. Now, an argument can be made that like, hey, if this kid never gets in front of an iPad, that's beneficial for XYZ region, and I believe that is correct. I believe, but I also at the same time believe that there's things, whether it be on an iPad or just a TV screen, which is kind of different in a lot of ways. There are some things on there that aren't terrible, that are actually can be helpful. Now the thing is like anything, where if it's like, okay, if a kid, especially during like development, this is just what I've come to understand. If they now become addicted to that thing, and it's like getting in the way of other development or other interests and stuff like that, where now they don't want to do anything. They just want to be on the iPad, because of certain things, certain addictive things that they're watching, and they're locked into it. That, because from what I understand, that's the thing when they're locked into it. Because let's see, we're what, Gen X, right?
We're Gen X.
Like consider watching movies. Like we all watch freaking movies, dumb movies too, by the way. Scary movies, whatever. It's like it's not necessarily bad for you, but this, from what I understand, it's like if me and you and let's say our wives or our families, we're all watching a movie, we all share that experience together. When you're locked into like a screen, you're essentially blocking out the rest of the world, and I guess that can have like some effects. So I think this is very general because let's face it, there's a lot of details in this kind of stuff. If they're intentional, which they are. They're going to be just fine. Because you're not actively using it as a babysitter. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally agree.
It's going to be fine.
Good to go.
Keep
getting after it.
Yeah, but we do fall into that, I think.
You definitely, modern parents can fall into like, all right, just give them the iPad.
Well, yeah, fully. And on the other side too, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, if you be conscious of these kinds of things, because you can read, whether it be on the internet or on the news or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, screen time. They just say screen time, but screen time is very broad. So they just will say, hey, screen time bad. So then now they'll feel guilty if the kid is enjoying like literally a movie on the TV, when that's like, since 1920 or whatever movie's been out, kind of a thing.
Jack. Good to go. So that is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms, so we are not subject to their control. And we are doing this so that we can support the Jocko podcast, which will remain as is, free for all, as long as we can keep it that way. But we are doing this so we don't have to be under the control of sponsors, and we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us. And to do that, we're building a website right now where we'll be able to utilize to strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.